Under the direction of many generations of pharaohs, the canal, connecting the Nile River with the Red Sea, was born and existed until the 8th century. The Suez Canal may be a marvel of modern engineering, but the navigable waterways have been dug since ancient times, even through the deserts of North Africa. The Suez Canal is the closest, the most recent of the many man-made waterways that ran through Egypt. Dig under the direction of Egyptian pharaohs at various periods, they connected the Red Sea with the Nile, instead of the Mediterranean as in the current version. Modern, according to Amusing Planet. According to Aristotle, the first attempt to build a canal between the Red Sea and the Nile River came from the legendary Egyptian pharaoh Sesostris. Aristotle also recorded that the construction of the canal was stopped when the pharaoh discovered that the sea level was higher than the mainland. He feared that opening the Nile River to the Red Sea would cause salty seawater to flow back into the river, destroying Egypt's most important water source. According to Greek historians Strabo and Diodorus Siculus, after Sesostris, work on the canal continued thanks to Necho II in the late 6th century BC, but he did not live to see the canal's completion. Later, Darius the Great succeeded Necho II. However, like Sesostris, he stopped building near the Red Sea after hearing that the Red Sea was higher and would flood the land if the canal was opened. Finally, Ptolemy II was the one who completed the canal, connecting the Nile River and the Red Sea. According to Strabo, the canal was nearly 50 meters wide and deep enough for large ships to float. Construction began in the village of Phakusa, running across Bitter Lake, emptying into the Persian Gulf near the city of Cleopatris. However, according to historian Herodotus, the canal was completed by Darius and was wide enough for 2 3-deck warships to row in opposite directions. Before Darius, a natural waterway may have existed between Bitter Lake and the Red Sea, but was blocked by mud. Darius mobilized a huge army of slaves to clear the mud to get the waterway working again. He was so pleased with the results that he engraved a description of his achievement on pink granite. At the end of the 19th century, researchers discovered a stele called Pithom stone, providing evidence that Ptolemy built a lock with a sluice gate in the Red Sea's Herupolite Bay, helping ships pass through while also blocking water. Salt water from the Red Sea mixes with fresh water in the canal. The canal existed until the 8th century until it was blocked by the Abbasid Caliph al-Mansur in 767 to prevent enemies and rebels from using the canal to transport soldiers and supplies from Egypt to Arabia. Due to lack of maintenance, the canal gradually narrowed and disappeared in the middle of the desert. The canal was rediscovered by Napoleon in 1798 during a French campaign in Egypt and Syria. Napoleon was motivated to seek the canal because if it could be rebuilt, it would allow France to monopolize trade with India. With this design, Napoleon directed civil engineer Jacques-Marie Lepere to survey the terrain of the Isthmus of Suez while looking for traces of the ancient canal. Lepere and his colleagues eventually retraced the route of the Pharaoh's Canal from the Red Sea to the Nile. Later, when Napoleon became emperor, he asked the chief engineer to find a way to reopen the canal. But like the pharaohs 2,000 years ago, he told Napoleon the Red Sea was higher than the Mediterranean and needed to be built. Ship locks to prevent catastrophic backflow of seawater. It was not until 50 years later, in 1859, that construction of the Suez Canal began.